Hey, what's up, y'all? So this is Chaney here, talking about the three brains of the body and going right into it. You know, each brain of the body that I've designated here is going to have its own neurological cells. So it's been proven that the brain has billions of neurological cells, the heart has less than 100,000, and the gut has several million neurological cells. And what these neurological cells do is conduct electrical current and cellular connection very rapidly, and it transmits a lot of information at a very high speed. So yeah, these are very intelligent organs of the body, and they each have their own intelligence, and that's what I'm going to be diving into right now. Is the brain is the thinking brain. So those are the qualities of language, linguistics, symbols, logic, all of the prefrontal cortex qualities, and they constitute the only things that humans know how to do that are different than other species, with the exception of a few primates that do have some frontal lobe activity. But anyway, that's the thinking mind, and that is in regards to the nervous system. It controls the sympathetic nervous system. You know, the motor responses and the things that we can control, like breathing. It's kind of intercepted with the heart there and the parasympathetic nervous system. So there is a impact, and they're all tied into each other. But essentially, the head and the heart are more tightly bonded in their communication, and which leads me, to the feeling brain of the heart, which is, though feelings essentially are the combination of a thought and an emotion. And sometimes when we experience a negative feeling, then it's because a emotion and a thought are contradicting yourself, and it's opposing each other. So when we associate a positive feeling, it's because a thought and an emotion are united together, and they see eye to eye, so to speak. So if we go on to the heart and see that it's extremely powerful electromagnetic current. By the way, each one of these brains in the body, these major organs in the body have an electromagnetic field, and we can even go down to the cellular level, where the cell actually produces a gravitational field from the atoms within it, and it produces a gravitational field, and the heart is actually the most powerful in the body, even though it has the least amount of neurological cells in it, in comparison to the brain and the gut. It still is the most powerful. It's the intermediary. It's the neutral place. If we were to assign, I'm not going to get into it actually. So the heart is the meeting place, and it's the place where all thoughts and emotions and all blood and neurological process transfer through. It's basically, the heart is like a container for information such as blood and the nervous system impulses, like the neurological impulses in the nervous system, to go through, either figuratively and physically, like literally. And the brain, and the heart is the gateway. It's kind of the mediator again, and the transmitter of information and feelings and emotions, which are all forms of information. Emotions, thoughts are all forms of information. So the heart is very powerful and has the most strongest electromagnetic field in the body, and that's our feeling intelligence is very important, and it's not utilized in our current day and age to a large degree. I feel like it's coming back, but the heart is very prominent in the functioning intelligence of the human being. So without sticking too much on one topic, I'd like to go to the gut, which is the knowing brain, which is the knowing mind. It's essentially that gut feeling that you get. It's very instinctual, primal, visceral, right? It's because your intelligence of your body and the response you get from your gut, that information you get from your gut that's transmitting to through your heart and back to your brain, is telling you something that you do not consciously or linguistically or symbolically understand. So that gut, visceral, very powerful feeling or powerful knowing, it's also a feeling, but it's more of a it's more unconscious than that. Feelings we can kind of get to the bottom of, and we can kind of distinguish them a little bit if we are adamant enough about discovering what these feelings mean. But a gut knowing is instinctual. It's something that is beyond the conscious mind, and it is to a large degree unconscious, which I'll be talking about in another video. So the gut knows things that the mind doesn't know. The mind knows things that the gut doesn't know. They're not more important than each other. They're equally as important to our survival and well-being as a species, and it's very important that we consider the gut health, because the vagus nerve is also a main contributor to our own health as a human being, and as long as mental health too. It's been proven that the receptors to the vagus nerve to the brain are determine what your thoughts and feelings are, essentially. So they're all interconnected. And just to go back a little bit, the heart and the gut control the parasympathetic nervous system. So those things that you can't control in your body, like cellular reproduction, cellular repair, what else? Many other things, growth in the bones, and lymphatic system stuff, like the secretions of the endocrine system. So all that stuff is controlled by the parasympathetic nervous system, and mainly the heart and the gut. And they all tie into each other. Like, I don't want to get anybody, because they are all connected. And the brain does have a spot in those dynamics, but essentially, when it comes to the mind of the organs of the thinking, feeling, and knowing, then they are respectively connected to, the gut and the heart are the parasympathetic nervous system mind, and the head and the heart are the sympathetic nervous system mind, if you will. So that's kind of it, and I think it's really important that we understand that these organs and these systems of our organism are very crucial to our well-being, and the more we know about them, and the state that they're in, and the more consideration we have towards their own physical health, the more healthy we'll be on a mental level, so, and emotional level. So yeah, without further ado, I think that that about wraps it up. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.